day period.
Visitors from bordering states are exempt. An American citizen abducted last week in Niger has been rescued during a high-risk U.S. military raid in neighboring Nigeria, say officials. They say the mission was undertaken by elite commandos as part of a major effort to free a U.S. citizen, 27-year-old Philip Walton, before his abductors could get far after taking him captive in Niger on Monday. President Trump earlier this morning.
It was something that had to get done because they were playing with American citizens. We can't let that happen.
The president making the comments as he hits the campaign trail this weekend. He and Joe Biden making their final push with just 3 days until Election Day. President Trump will be holding several events in Pennsylvania, while former President Barack Obama will be joining his former vice president for events in Michigan. Early voting setting records nationwide, including in Georgia.
Here in Georgia alone, more than 3.8 million people have already cast their ballot ahead of the election. To put that into context, 4.1 million Georgians voted in total in 2016.
ABC's Elwin Lopez in Atlanta. More than 85.7 million Americans have already cast their ballots. Projections that more will vote Tuesday than any election in U.S. history. In New Orleans, authorities say a suspect is in custody after 2 police officers were shot in the heart of the French Quarter when a passenger in a pedicab started shooting into their squad car. At last check, that officer, a 4-year veteran of the department, was in serious condition, and there are reports that the other officer had minor injuries. You're listening to ABC News.
With just 3 days to go to Election Day, early polling places across Ohio are open until 4 this afternoon, from 1 to 5 tomorrow afternoon, and Monday from 8 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. Of course, regular polling places in Ohio are open Tuesday from 6:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night. Cuyahoga County Executive Armin Budish says all mail-in ballots must be postmarked by Monday, November 2nd, and he gives this suggestion.
Check the pickup time on the mailbox. If you put your ballot in the mailbox on Monday after the pickup time, it won't make the cut. It won't get the right postmark, and your vote won't count.
Mail-in votes postmarked by November 2nd will count even if they're received after Election Day. A recent poll shows Joe Biden leads among likely Ohio voters. The survey from Quinnipiac University says 48% of those questioned said they would vote for the former vice president. 43% signaled they would vote for President Trump for a second term. More than 1,800 Ohio residents were surveyed. A Quinnipiac polling analyst says the question now is whether Biden can maintain a slight lead in the Buckeye state. Trump easily won the state in 2016. A mail carrier in the Cleveland suburb of Maple Heights under arrest, facing a federal charge.
27-year-old Deandra L. Rice of Maple Heights is charged with delay and destruction of mail and newspapers. After special agents investigated, 335 pieces of mail were recovered from her vehicle. This mail was intended for delivery in the city of Cleveland and Bedford. Rice is in custody and had her initial appearance in front of Magistrate Judge Jonathan D. Greenberg on Friday afternoon. I'm Julie Holliday.
And some of the things that were found in the mail that had been found in Rice's trunk included political mailers, an absentee ballot, and books from the Dolly Parton Book Club. I'm Tom Moore.
Filling your news feed with the top trending news at the top and bottom of the hour. Columbus's news is on News Radio 610 WTBN.
From the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer Weather Center.
Self-care is more important now than ever. During Fresh Time's Buy Two, Get One Free body care sale, you can stock up on brands like Acure, Tom's, and Oracacia. Now through November 3rd, you can trust Fresh Time to bring you real natural solutions at real affordable prices.
Boys and girls, who's this famous statue?
Ooh, Betsy Ross.
No.
1 minute.
See, she's blindfolded.
1 minute. Nope, I got you now.
She's holding a sword and a scale.
Amelia Earhart? No, that's Lady Justice.
Right. She's blind to bias and weighs the evidence fairly.
Yep.
Lady Justice was smiling over Amy Coney Barrett. With her, cases will be decided on the Constitution, not judges making things up as they go. Justice Barrett is a woman of faith, and so are our own state Supreme Court Justices, Judy French and Sharon Kennedy. Justice Judy French and Justice Sharon Kennedy have faith in the law, and Justice Judy French and Justice Sharon Kennedy have faith in the Constitution. On Tuesday, vote to re-elect Justice Judy French and Justice Sharon Kennedy.
There are Lady Justices.
They sure are. Now the painting with the lady and the flag over here, that's Betsy Ross.
Paid for by the Ohio Republican Party.
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Good afternoon and welcome to On Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility. That's located at 999 Bethel Road. I am your host, along with my father, Phil. So here today, we are just 3 days out from an election that started a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago. 3 days away from really deciding two very different paths for our country. While there are so many differences in the candidates, we have always focused upon what we know best. The Second Amendment, protecting your family, and law and order. In my lifetime, I never thought so much would be at stake at one time. I never felt the security of our day-to-day lives could be so affected. It no longer is isolated to a crazy state out west, to the bad part of town, or to just one ethnicity or race. It is right here in our state, in our city, and in our neighborhoods. Do you feel as safe today when you go to the store or to the local mall as you did in January? Do you have the means to protect yourself and your family when you realize the police are stretched thin covering protests, riots, and looters? In 9 months, for whatever reason, we have lost our way in many regards. We have gone from not just criticizing those who risk their lives for us every day, but demonizing the good guys and elevating the lawlessness and thugs amongst us. Truth and facts no longer seem to matter, even when we see it on video. And many feel the need to take seriously that you have to now think about protecting yourself from this new evil. It's true. When the nation purchases 17 million firearms in 10 months, it's a reflection of our society. When we go from selling 10 firearms a day right here at our store to selling 150 firearms in a day, it's an insight into the fear in our homes, and it's not good. The election is about validating the chaos in our streets and the false narratives that now run rampant. It's about taking away the individual's right to protect themselves and about deciding if we are okay with the local stores being looted while everyone stands and watches. Honestly, the election is one of the most simple of our times. The options are at the polar opposites. And if you choose to elect Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Beto, and the rest of the Klan, you have said that you agree with what has happened in Philly this week, in Portland last month, in Columbus in May. Choose to make a stance, to say enough is enough. We must restore law and order. We must back our first responders. We must call out tyranny within our government. We must vote to maintain our constitutional rights. You may feel alone because we're not always the most vocal ones in the community, but rest assured you sit amongst many who are just as sickened by what is seen on the news at night. Many who are ready to fight like generations before you for our freedoms are now ready to stand up from the crowd and say enough is enough. Don't just take our word for it. Educate yourself on what the candidates say. It's pretty easy, really, when you hear, "We're coming for your guns." It's pretty easy to understand when one of the most radical groups, such as Antifa, points their website to Joe Biden. It really doesn't leave much for interpretation. We know our listeners and our customers get it, but the weight of this election lays upon our shoulders to educate others. Open their eyes to what's happening in this country. We're not perfect, but it is time we stand up and vote to preserve our beautiful country for the next generation. We are the owners of LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility and are active law enforcement, but for 1 hour on Saturdays, we put together a group of firearm experts to discuss new products in the market, training tips, and oftentimes political topics surrounding the Second Amendment. Our commitment, though, is always to bring you the facts about our industry and ultimately help our customers and listeners with safe, responsible ownership of firearms. That's it, guys. I'm out of here.
Good speech, Eric.
Wow, great.
You're preaching to the choir.
But the choir now has an obligation to go out and speak the truth. That's the thing. You know, we sit here every week and we say, oh, we're just talking to the base. We're talking to the people who already know. But we need to then educate those who don't know.
And I think we do a good job of that here.
I think we do.
You guys do. And I have to say I had to keep the music going because you were on a roll. So.
All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Emily.
Thanks, Emily. So, guys, I listened back to the show last week, and wow. Last week, Bob Paduchik, Steve Carradine, and Pat Manley all in one show. This week, though, it's going to be packed again. News is going to be up first, and then we're going to have a brief update on what we have in stock here at LEPD because it seems to be a little bit of a run on things. So we wanted to update people on that.
Well,
and then
Eric, you told me that you heard Ed and I eating and drinking and everything
yes.
else.
No. He didn't say me.
Well, yeah, he looked at you.
No, he looked at you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Always throwing me under the bus.
When they played the national anthem, not a whole lot of people know this, but some time ago, the federal law came out saying that former veterans or veterans of military can stand up and they can salute in civilian clothes.
Yes.
And I do that all the time during parades and everything else. Everybody's got their hand on their heart, but I salute. There you have it.
Well, yeah, I mean, patriotism needs to come back, and I think it has. When you look at the Trump rallies and stuff, I think it's still out there. I think people are now starting to stand up. Speaking of standing up, at 12:25, talk about someone who's really stood up for law enforcement and for law and order in Columbus. Ryan O'Brien is back on the ticket. We have to vote for him. We have to get the message out. He is a voice of reason as Franklin County prosecutor.
Have you seen some of the crap that's on the television by Tyack?
Yes.
It's pathetic.
It is. It is. So we're going to welcome him back, and then we got a neat guest joining us at 12:30. RNC National Spokeswoman Liz Harrigan, and she's out there on the front lines in D.C., actually lives in D.C., and if you've ever seen one of her interviews on Fox, NBC, and most recently CNN, you know her best for speaking the truth and not taking any crap from the reporters. Did you guys see that CNN interview I sent to you?
I saw it. And in fact, I played it a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I played it a couple times. And one of the questions I'm going to ask her, how do you keep your cool
I know.
when you talk to idiots like that? How do you keep your cool?
I know it.
Because I guess that's the professionalism on her side, because I would be jumping over the table to attack somebody.
I know.
And she was so smart and so quick and had a smile on her face as she was just cutting down the reporter. It was just great.
It was.
Yeah.
So she's coming up at 12:30. I'd like to thank our sponsors, TTG Technologies, Jackson Lawn Care and Egress Windows, Blackwing Shooting Center, Rivers Edge Cutlery, CNS Engraving, and LEPD Training Facility, all who make the show possible each week.
Can you just make one comment about my attire so I can take it off?
I'm getting there.
Criminy.
Joining me today in the LEPD studios, my father and co-owner Phil sits to my left. You got a do-rag on. What did you ride in today? You have goggles, do-rag.
Bicycle.
If you
Tricycle.
You know that you have goggles like this, I think.
Oh, I know.
We went to Iron Pony and back in our heyday when we were biking. And actually,
Is that what that was?
Yeah, we were biking.
Okay.
Yeah.
On your tricycles.
Look at that. See? Yeah. We are hardcore.
Yeah,
Eric's taking up smoking.
We are hardcore.
You know, I've thought about that, Ed. Have you ever thought about smoking? You did at one time,
did.
right?
Well, he smokes now. He smokes cigars.
I did cigarettes years ago.
But you know what? I've never done it. I'm thinking about picking it up. So I'm
Picking it up?
try it. Yeah.
Pick it up. Right.
Pick it up. Pick it up, Eric. You know what? It's not bad. You know, it's not bad if you don't mind dying from it.
Yeah.
Okay?
You got to die.
You got to die from
right?
something.
Yeah.
To my right is my good friend Big Ed. Big Ed, did you see? Did you get the message this week about the interview we did live on Facebook? You weren't here. We interviewed Keith Farrell with Markel Davis and Jessica.
I watched part of it yesterday, and I couldn't watch all of it, but I did see a bit of it with the young man.
Yeah, Markel Davis.
With his mother.
You know, it was kind of an impromptu interview, but it is so important. We talked about issue 2 in Columbus and how we need to vote no on that, and it's not because we think law enforcement is above the law. It's just because this is just not right.
Because they're putting idiots out there to judge the police.
It is. And Keith Farrell did a wonderful job, as always.
Yes.
And Marco and his mom, great advocates out there. And they're doing a trunk for a treat today. And I'm not sure where it's at. It's at a church here locally where
There's
they're having
a big rally going on
yeah.
again, too, around 270.
Yep. On the phone with us is our good friend JC. JC, is this the last week you're going to be on the phone with us?
Yeah, I will be there in person next Saturday. So
that's if Michigan
good.
lets you
out. Good, but
that's right.
So there's just so much happening. Yeah, I'm sorry to see that the SHOT Show was canceled, but it's not surprising with all the other COVID events that are out there. But my fear is if the election goes the wrong way, who knows if it may be no more SHOT Show. You just don't know.
You never know.
Well, that
hopefully,
just
for
sucks.
2021, we'll
Am I allowed to say that?
next year.
Yes.
Ed, you know what? I was planning on taking you to
I
SHOT Show for
know,
the first
I
time
know.
ever.
I know. I was looking so forward to that. Now
know.
you just ruined my month.
Now it's getting real.
Thank
Are
you,
both of
JC.
you guys going to bike up there?
Oh, if it's canceled now.
Not the kind of bike that you have.
I was going to ride on the back of Ed's bike and stuff. If you missed the show, you can always catch the podcast. That's at 610WTVN.com. We're on iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Facebook Live is a great place to watch the show because Big Ed answers your questions during it, talks to you on the break, and you can go back there and watch it later on.
And you know what's going to happen next Saturday's show, don't you?
We're going to gloat. We're going to gloat.
Well, besides that, we're going to have the gun of the week.
Yes.
That's right.
We are.
We are going to have the gun of the week, and I've got the firearm.
Did I tell you that already?
No, you didn't tell me, but I'm just...
You're taking control.
I'm taking control.
You know what?
Eric.
It's funny because I wrote that in.
You did?
Look at that.
I didn't even look at that.
It's time to get to some news from JC. JC, we know SHOT Show is canceled. What other news do you have out there?
Well, let's straighten out something because one of the stories, which I did on Friday night and I was ready for today, Walmart, here's the original story. Walmart removes guns and ammunition from display in all of its stores across the U.S. due to the current civil unrest. So on Thursday, they ordered all guns and all ammunition removed from all 4,700 stores with the election coming up and with what's happening. Well, that was on Thursday. On Friday, Reuters reported Friday night. It was just on the news this morning that Reuters reported that Walmart said that it's begun returning all the firearms and ammunition to the floors of the U.S. stores. Much to the disappointment of the gun control crowd, but it turns out that they did it because there were riots recently. I think we know what happened in Philadelphia. I don't know, it didn't get much news coverage, but 30 police officers injured, and with the riots that were going on there. But because their stores were affected, their stores were actually looted, I guess, and so they decided to pull them from everyone. Now they realize that was just a regional issue, and so Walmart has once more put the guns and ammunition out there, and it's 4,700 stores that do sell firearms and ammunition. So there you go. So that's a good one. And you mentioned earlier, this is really important. The Guardian had reported that, as you mentioned earlier, Eric, that there is a record number of guns sold this year. And get this, by August, gun sales had exceeded last year's total by August of this year. By September, we exceeded the highest total ever for gun sales in the United States. That was by September. So we had the rest of September, October. We got November, December going up. This report, by the way, was by Jürgen Bauer, who's the chief economist for the Small Arms Analytics company, which gets these kind of statistics for the U.S. But imagine that. 2020 has been quite a year. I don't have it for all the manufacturers, but Ruger released theirs, and Sturm Ruger's revenue was up about 53% this last quarter, and earnings jumped more than 500% just in that company alone. And as Eric, as you can attest to, gun sales are just out the roof. We can hardly keep anything in stock, and that's incredible news. So
it
that's
is, JC,
what's been happening.
And I know you kind of brushed over it at the beginning, but I mean, listen to this stat. I mean, previously, selling, 5-10 firearms a day for us. We're doing okay on that. And when we went back and pulled the reports, there were days during COVID and civil unrest where we were selling 150 firearms in a day.
That's a lot of guns.
That is. And like we said all along, we're big on the training. Our classes have been exponentially increased. Booked. I mean, we keep putting more classes out there and they keep going up. That's a very good thing that people wanted to educate themselves on it and protect themselves. JC, we're going to jump to a quick break. I know you have a couple stories. One that we're going to, I think, hear first here on Target, but we're going to wait till the end of the show to get to that. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about what we have in inventory right now and then get to our good friend Ron O'Brien. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Hey, guys out there, how we doing this morning, or this afternoon, I should say? Hope everybody survived any of the parties they went to last night. I know I had a good one. And I was still able to get up and get over here to work on time. I want to say hi to all my friends out there, my daughter Jessica. Thanks, Jessica, for bringing up those donuts for me. I know the guys are very happy that we brought them in, and they thank you. She was my delivery girl today.
Well, we thank her too.
Yes. That looks good on you.
It looked better on you, though.
Yeah,
Eric, it's 45.
All right, thank you.
It's 45 degrees outside.
If you blow out on that, it'll smoke.
Hey, Eric, I have to talk to you about National Day.
Veterans Day?
No, classes.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I might have to do mine, but my sister and future brother-in-law want to class at your facility.
All right, yeah.
I got to talk about what you have open because you guys are jam-packed.
Yep. Oh, that's your hearing aid, Papa? I thought you were going to wear this.
Say what?
How much? Your ABC 6 first warning weather today, mostly sunny, dry, and pleasant. High of 52. It's actually very nice out there. Tonight, a few clouds, not as cold. Low is going to be 41. Sunday, morning showers are likely. Windy with falling temps into the afternoon. High of 51. Currently 45 degrees on your severe weather station. News Radio 610 WTVN.
Columbus's News Radio 610 WTVN.
You try to scream, but dare I take the sound before you make it. You start to freeze as horror looks you right between the eyes.
Guys, do you realize it's Halloween?
Yes. I had a Halloween party.
You did?
Had a great party.
Wait. You had a Halloween party?
Yes.
Popo, did you? Did you get an invite to that?
No, I did not.
Emily, did you get an invite to that? No. JC didn't. What kind of? It must not have been a very good one.
It wasn't.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. I appreciate it. I would have invited you to mine, but I'm not having one. But
Oh, well, see.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LEPD studios. Emily is our lovely producer who really keeps it all together for us. Big Ed sits to my right. My father, Coner, Phil to my left. JC is on the live line with us. Guys, I wanted to talk for a brief second. I know inventory, ammo, all that good stuff has been a hot topic.
Brief?
Wanted to give a...
When are you brief?
I'm going to be brief.
Okay. Go ahead.
I can turn that mic right off there, Edward. Okay, enough with that. So, guys, ammo still very hard to get. We are selling 9mm over the counter, just one box per person at this moment of range ammo. If you're going to the range, we certainly have it up there. We're starting to get to that point again. We're going to have to dial back on 38s and 380s unless you're taking a class. Or purchase a firearm. We definitely want to hold some back for that. So that's kind of the update on ammo. As far as inventory goes, as soon as it comes in, it goes right out. We got in a bunch of Glocks Thursday, and I was going to announce it today on air. And as I was walking up here, they said, "Don't announce it because they're gone." So if you are hunting something in that regard, call in, stop in, get your name on the list because that's what we go to first. In regards to ARs, we have plenty for on the law enforcement side of the house.
Yeah.
On the civilian side, there is a couple up there, but Ed, you have something right there. If you want to grab it there, Ed.
Absolutely.
This is an AR pistol, which is extremely popular these days, and this, Ed, is...
this is a fine
weapon. It is wonderful. It's a double star. With JC, you can probably elaborate on that. They're known for their 1911s and kind of higher-end firearms. This is their AR pistol. We have them in two different barrel lengths, and it's slick. And we just got some in. So
are they going to ban these?
Well, that's next week. We'll talk about that. So
that's nice. That's nice.
So those are here. We also have. I know some people were looking this time of year for just kind of a varmint rifle. We got in some really nice Savage I'm going to put it there on the screen there. Savage 223 bolt action with a scope. Comes with the scope right on it. Really reasonable price. I think it's just over $400. So those are here.
Savage is a good gun, too. I have one of those home.
We did just get in some handguns, some Tauruses, I believe, too. So there is still stuff here. I mean,
it's
shotguns,
trickling in.
Yeah, shotguns. We got in a big shipment of 12-gauge shotguns. A variety of different manufacturers on that. Some are the AR platform. So there is still, if you're in the market for firearms of any sort, there's still stuff that we can certainly outfit you with. JC, you're not going to recognize the place when you come back home.
I'm going to stop in as soon as I can just to take a look at it. But I just know we've been selling just everything. But, yeah, those Double Stars, by the way, are really good guns. I mean, obviously, they've been making AR platforms since 1964 went on sale.
Really?
Wow. So it's been out for a while. Yeah, 1964. They actually sold them to the public before the military officially adopted them. So January, I think it was the 4th or the 6th of 1964 went on sale in New York City. So, yeah, it's amazing, and obviously it's America's rifle. So you know, if the election goes sour and these people want to take away America's rifle, and there's probably, I think the last estimate I heard was over 18 million of just the AR style rifle are in circulation in the United States. So and these pistols are great.
JC, speaking of amazing and committing yourself to public service for years, we have with us now on the live line with us Mr. Ron O'Brien, Franklin County Prosecutor. How are you, sir?
All right. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, I am doing great. I am up here at the Early Vote Center on Morse Road, where I've been all week talking to voters just before they go in and cast their 2020 ballot, and I'm explaining to them I am the county prosecutor, Ron O'Brien, that I've been there over 20 years, that experience counts, and that when you represent victims of violent crimes, you want someone in there who has been there and done that.
You're absolutely right. And one of the things, I've noticed, crime doesn't stop for you to be able to give you an opportunity to go out there and prepare for an election. I mean, you guys are so busy, and the election is going on in the background. I mean, there's so many things going on. It seems like every day I pick up the paper or see the news, and you guys are going after the bad guys. I mean, and it's relentless.
Yes, I was in court most days this week and up here at the vote center in the afternoon, but we just indicted yesterday the man that, while out on bond, murdered that manager of the White Castle on West Broad Street about a week ago. And we just filed charges Thursday against a woman who killed 3 people while she was under the influence of alcohol. They were on motorcycles, and she basically didn't see them. She just backed right through them, caused their death. So we're in court every day representing the people and trying to do the right thing for the right reason, and that's what our job is. Actually, I would tell you a quick story. Yesterday up here was a man named Robert McClendon, and a lot of people think the job of the prosecutor is just to convict people and put them in jail and throw away the key, but Robert was in prison for 18 years on a sexual assault case where he'd been wrongfully convicted. And the Ohio Innocence Project came to me and said, will you give this man a DNA test to show he didn't commit this crime? And even though he wasn't entitled to it, I gave him the DNA test, and lo and behold, he was wrongfully convicted. He was released from prison, and I greeted him at the prison door. And he was out here yesterday talking to these voters, explaining to them that you want a prosecutor who is both tough but fair, and his story, I can tell you, sways a lot of the voters as they're going in to vote.
Wow, Ron, I mean, the years of service is so admirable here in our community, and you have earned the right to kind of back off a little bit and settle down. What drives you to continue to go out there and push and to run for another term? I mean, you've earned the right to retire and enjoy your family. I mean, what drives you to continue?
Well, I get some people that ask me that in this voter line up here and say, don't you have enough time in to retire? I probably had enough time in to retire 15 years ago. I just love the job that I have the privilege of doing, and I love representing victims of violent crime. And we have switched gears on a lot of things over the years, one of which is we started a drug court about 10 years ago, a very successful one, I think, where we try and treat people with addiction problems rather than jail them. If they're not selling drugs, if they're selling drugs, then they will be prosecuted. But I think it's trying to solve the problem, which, as you know, there's a spike in violent crime, spike in homicides, and unfortunately a spike in drug overdose deaths caused primarily by fentanyl being mixed in with other drugs. I'm working on all three of those projects, and those three things are, I think, the reason that I am running for re-election and want to work on over the next 4 years.
Hey, Ron, this is Paul. You know me as Phil.
That's right, Phil. I graduated from high school with Phil.
Yes, you did, sir. I retired 3 times and I'm still working, so you may as well just keep working, really, because it doesn't, for some reason, guys like us, we can't stop,
Just don't go away.
I think that's good.
Now,
well, it keeps us energized, keeps us young, and it's something I love doing.
Okay, Eric, we got to keep him on the phone if you can, because I have one more comment. I think we're going to go to break.
We are going to break.
Okay.
So, all right, we're going to go to break. Ron, can you hang for another minute?
Sure.
All right, hang for another minute. We're on Target, broadcasting live from the studios of LEPD Firearms and Range. We're right back after the break.
See you.
Hey,
Yeah, when am I calling Liz?
Can you call her, keep her on hold for one quick second? We'll do Ron O'Brien just really, really quick and then go right to her.
Yeah, let me try.
Okay.
Actually, no, I can't because they're both on my lines that I call out on.
Okay.
So if I can just call her right after you hang up with Ron.
That's fine. I'll try to send her a quick text.
Okay.
Oh, it's about time. Yes, Bill Warner, that is Paw Paw's sister, Shirley Delbert. I mistakenly said his wife. I meant his sister. Sorry about that. Cindy, how are you today? See you checking in. Zane, Paul, Bill Yost. How about 12-gauge double-up buck? We got plenty of that. Come on in and stock up. Paul, Jen Matthews. Free donuts at Krispy Kreme on Election Day, guys.
Hey, I told Liz we're running a minute behind.
Okay. I'll call her when you...
Yep. We're only going to be a second with Ron.
Everybody out there going to and exercise your right to vote, I hope soon, if you haven't done it already. Or if you're going to wait till Election Day. Like me, I like to vote on Election Day. And we will gloat next week. There's no way that he can lose. No way. Liz Harrington's on hold.
She is up next there, Big Ed.
All right. Now, we had some guy talk about it earlier on here, said that the lines were at Franklin County were out around the corner, about a 2-hour wait. 2-hour wait in line.
Wow.
To vote.
You going to ask Ron that then? You can ask that to Ron. You going to ask him about how the lines are?
Absentee. That's scary. I hope it got in there. Did you hand deliver it to the mailman?
Live from LAPD Firearms Range and Training Facility, this is On Target, the latest from the firearms industry, the products and politics that affect your hobby and liberty. This program may not be politically correct, but it is On Target. Now, your host, Eric Delbert.
Welcome back to On Target. I'm your host, Eric, joined today in the LAPD studios. JC is on the live line with us. Big Ed sits to my right. My father and co-owner Phil sits to my left. We still have Ron O'Brien on with us, Papa.
Ron, I hear that there's some pretty long lines out there voting.
Yes, there are. Actually, I've been here every day since they started early voting, and I think they're the longest today. It might be because the sun's shining, and it's a Saturday, and it's early, and some folks waited 2 hours in line before they had a chance to go in and vote. It's a little less than that now, but I would tell people, any listeners, it probably takes an hour and a half to get from the end of the line to have a chance to vote.
Wow.
And at least I have found that if you come at the end of the day, that the lines are very short and not much of a wait. They're open today until 4, and tomorrow 1 to 4, and then I think Monday 8 to 2. So I don't know if what happened this week when they were open to 7, 6:30 and after, the lines were fairly short.
Okay, Ron, I have one last question here for you. Years ago, I was downtown Columbus watching a parade. I think it was either St. Patrick's Day or Veterans Day, which is coming up. And I thought you went by on roller skates. Was that true?
No, I have been in the St. Patrick's Day Parade probably for over 30 years, and actually been the chairman or the co-chairman for probably almost that long.
Oh, man.
But I either walk or I have a car that I walk next to. I never ride in a car and wave to the crowd like the homecoming queen, because I think you want the public to see you out there being active.
All of these years,
so I always walk that and other parades.
All
Never
of these
on roller
years,
skates, however.
all of these years, I've been telling people that you came by on skates and that you did pretty good. So let's just keep it at that, okay?
You need to produce pictures, Papa.
Yeah.
Well, Ron, thank you so much for calling in. Best of luck to you. Ron O'Brien, we got to vote. Make sure he stays in there to help protect us, Franklin County prosecutor. And thanks so much, and be safe out there.
Thank you, Eric.
All
Bye
right.
now.
See you. Guys, up next, we're going to get on the line with us, Liz Harrington. It is going to be, you definitely going to want to hear from her. But as we get her on the line, JC, I don't know if you picked up on this. I meant to tell you this in show prep. Did you guys see Jeopardy this week?
No, I did not.
JC, did you hear this story?
No, I did not.
So I'm going to paraphrase, but I didn't pull the actual video. But apparently on Jeopardy this week, one of the questions came up about weapons, which I'm kind of surprised. Anyways, but it came up something to the effect of what is AR stand for? And the correct answer on Jeopardy was assault rifle.
No.
And ding, ding, ding. Yeah, you got it right. Yeah.
Really? They said that was right?
They said that was right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wait,
So,
is Alex Trebek still the host of that show?
I think so.
Oh, I think
so.
so.
And he allowed that answer to go out as real?
They don't know. They don't care.
So
Alex knows.
Makes you question what other answers they have out there.
Yeah.
They're just picking their own answers. That's really incorrect.
Right. We'll research that for next week.
All right.
Guys, you may have seen our next guest on any of the national news stations, C-SPAN, Fox, CNN. She's always out in front as the Republican National Chair spokesperson, speaking the truth and holding the reporters accountable for misinformation and fake news. Today, we're Harrington. How are you, Liz?
I'm great. How are you?
We're good. How are you holding up there in D.C.?
Hey, I'm doing good. Closing days. We're in the swamp, but that's okay. And the president's getting out there, and we're going to win this thing.
That's right. We just had a report from a couple of friends here that we're seeing come through messaging saying that in the city of Columbus, they've already started boarding up some of the businesses, unfortunately. Are you seeing that there in D.C. as well?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just so unfortunate. They've already left-wing anybody that's even somewhat to the right that doesn't agree with them. They're going to target their businesses. They're going to target the entire city, really. No matter what the outcome is, they're going to riot, which is just, we can't have that in America.
No.
We have free and fair elections. We have peaceful transfers of power, at least we used to, without spying and leaking, and what the Obama administration and Joe Biden did to President Trump. But this is the left. This is the party now that is the Democrat Party that's been taken over, that Joe Biden has zero control over. He hasn't made a single phone call to Portland, right? Not a single law enforcement agency has endorsed his campaign because they know he has no control over his radical base. We saw what just happened in Philadelphia. We've seen it all throughout this year in these Democrat-run cities, letting lawlessness abound, and we really need to put a stop to it.
We do. And Liz, when we last spoke, we're a small business, obviously, here, and we're thrilled what the president has done for us. We saw it firsthand, and our employees did too, with the reduction of some of the payroll taxes. We saw it firsthand too, the reduction in some of the government regulations in our industry here. But law and order, Second Amendment, personal protection is really our expertise. And as we said at the top of the hour today, it's if you base your voting on that, it's a very simple vote. The frustrating part about it is, you and I spoke previously that it's amazing how much the mainstream media doesn't pick up on some of the lawlessness in the streets. Take Philadelphia, for example. I mean, I watched an hour of CNN the other night in the height of that, and there was no mention of it. I mean, and you're seeing that firsthand as well, correct?
Yes, and they censor it. They censor anything that they think will hurt their preferred candidate, the preferred candidate of the powerful in the swamp, which is Joe Biden. And they know that a bunch of Joe Biden voters out there wreaking havoc certainly isn't going to help their case. And in Democrat-run cities where they're allowing this to happen. But it's just so unfortunate because this is not political. Just as you mentioned, you can't have peace and prosperity without fundamental law and order. You just can't have it. And the businesses, it's so devastating for business owners in Philadelphia who already have suffered through lockdown, who already suffered through the riots earlier in the summer. Some of them just reopened for the first time, and then they had their stores ransacked and looted. It's just devastating, and it has no place in our society. You have to restore order here, and we have to defend our police, who are just under so much assault by the left, by the media. They only ever try to heighten tensions and divide us when we know there's so much more in common. The vast majority of Americans, we agree on these fundamental issues. And the silent majority, I think, is going to turn up so loudly. They already are. They're already voting early. But this Election Day on Tuesday, I think it's going to be so overwhelming that despite their best efforts of suppressing the truth and being completely on board with the Democrats and hiding their candidate and everything else, the silent majority is going to be so loud on Tuesday that they're not going to be able to ignore it anymore.
Right. Well, I hope so. Liz, this is Phil. How do you stay calm and keep your cool when you're talking to reporters that try to get you to stumble and try to catch you on certain phrases and things like that?
Well, you just got to kind of be prepared. You got to know what their game is, and you have to stick with what you want to say and stick with the truth. I always say a little prayer every time I go on before these.
Well, yeah.
That I say the right thing,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and
Right.
because they're trying to trip you up at any second. It's such a gotcha game, and you know, if you say one wrong thing, that's it.
I don't know
And
how
it's
you
just,
keep it cool.
They're not interested in the truth. They're not interested in a lively, open exchange of ideas, which is unfortunate. But it is fun when you do get the opportunity to say the truth right to their face.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it out there already, we should probably link to it. I think it was within the week, right, when you were on CNN, and you kind of turned the tables on.
Was that Christine or Christina or something? Yeah.
Christiane Amanpour, yeah, that's right.
Yes, we were cheering you on. I mean, but it's true though. I mean, very few people hold these media outlets to, hold their feet to the fire, and you did that. You flipped the tables on them, and you could see in her eyes wanting to get out of the interview as quick as possible.
That's why she kept on saying Liz, Liz, Liz.
Right.
And then at one time she rolled her eyes too, because Liz, you kept on spewing the truth.
And she couldn't dispute anything I said.
Right.
No.
I mean, that's all she could do. She couldn't dispute the facts. I mean, it's amazing. But the sad thing is, you know, that was one rare opportunity. It was on CNN International where she has a show now. But CNN and I know Republicans that are paid contributors, they pay them not to go on. They pay them not to go on because they don't want the conservative voice on their airwaves. They just censor. I mean, it's just like what big tech is doing. And, hey, good news for the New York Post, by the way. They gained about 200,000 followers when they were being censored by Twitter, but now they're back. They didn't bend the knee. They stayed strong. They didn't bow down to big tech. But this is the left. This is what they do. They don't want an open debate. They don't want to bring on the other side. They don't want a free exchange of ideas. Yeah. That's so antithetical to what this country has always been about. It's always been about conscience rights. It's always about individual freedom and the freedom to think for yourself and live for yourself.
And Liz, you know, it goes without saying, we're not perfect. I mean, I'm close, but we're not perfect. And so, I mean, I want that same scrutiny to be put on our side. I don't want bad law enforcement out there.
How many times did we invite people to come on our show and just talk back and forth? We're not going to gang up on them, and they refuse time and time again.
That's because they don't want to hear.
It's sad because it makes you sharper. You know, that's why people, you know, speaking on the Republican side and the conservative side, we're sharper because we always have to hear their point of view. We always have to hear their arguments.
Whether you like it or
can't
not.
get out of bed without it being right in your face, right, in our culture and everything else. So it keeps us, you know, sharp. They are so stuck in their bubble that they're not even aware of the other point of view. And that's why I think they're going to be so blindsided come November 3rd. They've just completely tripled and quadrupled down on all the reasons why they lost in 2016. And they're missing the big picture once again.
Right. And I think, Liz, good people, I think the majority of people out there are good people. And if they knew truly what was going on in the streets and if they got the full picture, I think they would, even if they voted left historically, I think they would see that President Trump is the law and order president. I think that they're voting misinformed at time, and it's an uphill battle getting that message out, getting the truth out there. And
that's because they paint Trump as a instigator, not a law and order president, and a hater. And it just blows my mind that the left doesn't talk about, and CNN isn't even talking about the Hunter Biden computer, the incident where, you know, they have that, and they have the guy go on national TV, and they're calling him a liar. Why would he make up a story? And he has the proof to back it up.
It's hard proof. It's evidence.
That's
it's not just Tony Bobolinsky saying this. He's got the documents. He's got the recordings. He's got the text messages. I mean, these people are corrupt. They're in bed with communist China.
If that
they're
was
in bed
Trump,
with Moscow, with Ukraine, you name it.
Right.
And there's just, it's completely down the memory hole. They're not even going to act like it exists.
Look what they did to Trump
but
over
again,
that last year.
The harder they go against it, I think the bigger the story becomes.
Right. I agree. JC, any comments there? You're quiet.
Liz is remarkable. I've watched her several times. I just, my hat's off to you. I just don't know how, with a smile on your face, because I'd be going across choking some of those people. But you just do it with such aplomb.
That's what Phil just said too.
You're just incredible. But one thing, I just don't know where it turns. I would constantly talk to my friends how it's all one-sided with the media. That it's just there's no fairness. It's concealed what they want to get done. And they won't put anything out there, as you said, that would reflect negatively on Biden. And there is a ton of stuff out there that is so negative. So I don't know how do you get this out there outside of you? And but the media won't print it. Social media won't print it. I just that's what astounds me the most, Liz.
Well, you got to just bypass them, and we do it with our ads. But you're right; they try to censor us on social media and everything else, and suppress our reach. But we have 2.5 million people that volunteered to sign up for the Trump campaign in the RNC, and they're all across this country working every single day, knocking on doors, holding events. I mean, these amazing truck caravan rallies that just happen spontaneously are happening all across the country on a daily basis in some of the bluest areas. I mean, they're happening in L.A., the boat parades, everything else. There's so much energy out there. People are talking to their neighbors. They're getting involved. They're fed up with what the Democrats have done. They're fed up with how they've handled the pandemic as well, just locking everyone down, shutting you out of schools and church, and government telling you who's essential and who's not. We're all essential, right? I thought we were all in this together. And they're locking you down. They don't have a solution. And yet here we have a complete contrast of the American way. Let's meet problems head on. Let's keep our freedom intact to fight a pandemic that was born out of a central planning communist regime cover-up. We're not going to throw out our Constitution for that. No, we're going to meet challenges like we always have in America. Right. And I think on every single aspect of this, you couldn't get a bigger contrast. And I think people have a very clear choice to make. You can have someone who's bought and paid for by communist China, someone who is so against the American ideal that he says no miracle is coming. It's down and out. We can't do anything. Or you have someone who, President Trump, not only did what he said he was going to do, built the greatest economy in our history, is already doing it again and literally embodies the can-do American spirit. We got to keep our country great. It is the greatest nation on earth, and we're fighting for those fundamental freedoms, for law and order, for school choice, for just those fundamental, the idea that you get to decide and make these decisions for yourself and your family, not big government, some bureaucrat hiding in their basement, someone who's never employed someone in their life. 47 years of talk, and yet he came out with 3 mansions and a multi-millionaire.
You're not talking about Biden, are you? That kind of threw me there. Okay.
Well, Liz, thank you so much for being on the front lines, for spreading the words on all of our behalfs. And please stay in touch. Let us know how this week goes. You can give us a yell anytime. And be safe in D.C. this week.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Everybody get out and vote. It's the most important election in history.
It is.
And vote for Donald Trump.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. That's Liz Harrington, good friend, RNC national spokesperson, and wow, just on the front lines, really on the front lines. When we come back from the break, we want to get to another couple of news stories and wrap up and go from there.
I wish she would come to Columbus and specifically Powell, Ohio, and talk to some of my neighbors.
Maybe we can arrange that.
Yeah, okay.
We're on Target. We're broadcasting live from the studios of LAPD Firearms and Range. We'll be right back after the break.
Hello. So what do we got here? Justin Bloor. Christmas is canceled. No white privilege holidays.
I'm sorry, what?
That's what he's posting on here. He says Christmas is canceled.
Since when is Santa Claus a white privilege holiday?
Say no to white privilege holidays.
That's a joke.
Democracy has canceled out the holidays as Antifa and BLM refuse to acknowledge historical day gone by. Where once stood families around the tree, thanked each other for accomplishments of the past and their gifts and their presents. Gone are the days the Democratic Party where the parents, where I just lost my place. The parents were the.
Your ABC 6 first warning weather. Today, mostly sunny, dry, and pleasant, high of 52. Tonight, a few clouds, not as cold, low of 41. Sunday morning, showers are likely. Windy with temps falling into the afternoon, high of 51. It is currently 46 degrees on your Severe Weather Station News Radio 610 WTVN.
News Radio for Columbus, 610 WTVN.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna.
Guys, I hope this is an
that's
indication.
Not a Trump song there. I don't know.
I hope this is an indication of what we're going to be doing next week at this time.
Absolutely. There's no way he's going to lose.
I'm telling you, I am going to have a hard time containing it next week if it goes in our favor. And JC will be back here with us. Welcome back to On Target.
We'll have the group here, the whole group.
JC, we only have a minute and 20 seconds left, but you had a piece of news that you wanted to break here that you think has actually fallen off the internet now. So this might be the one and only place you hear this. What do you got?
Well, this is great news. This is going to be like when you had the first computer out there, and well, this is something big. The U.S. Army has demonstrated the first prototype of a new laser weapon system that's going to be on a combat vehicle. So the laser era is now beginning in the United States Army.
Wow.
So the Army has released a film, which is pretty hard to see because it's been taken down from several sites. Don't know why, but I found one that had it. So what they've done is, I love how the Army is. They've called this now get this, it's called the Directed Energy Maneuver Short Range Air Defense, or as they initialize everything, the DMISHOROD system. It's a 50 kilowatt system. It's put on a Stryker vehicle, which is an 8-tired, looks like an armored personnel carrying an 8-tired vehicle that looks like it backed into a dumpster, and the dumpster got stuck onto the back of it. That's what it looked like to me. And this MISHOROD, by the way, I have shortened that anagram. Laser gun. That's what I call it. But meant to fight off unmanned aerial systems, drones and that sort, rotary-winged aircraft, so that would be the helicopters, and rocket artillery and mortar threats. Well, now get this, even though it's new, it's got to be far enough along that the prediction is that they're going to have it at platoon level by fiscal year 2022. So they're going ahead with this, and this is going to be the first fielded laser weapon, and it's mounted on this armored personnel carrier. But and it just came out. They just announced it, but we were going to keep tabs on this. But the future has changed for the military.
Wow.
So laser weapons in the field.
Wow. Well, JC, the music is going to start rolling in now. Another show.
Is she going to warn us?
Hey, Ed, are we hanging over for Facebook at all?
We can.
Okay, we might hang over for a second.
Last news, guys. Last news. In case you didn't know it, Sean Connery passed away today.
Yes,
unfortunately.
Yes, we'll have to do a Guns of James Bond soon. Yeah. So, guys, get out and vote. This is it. This is the final push. Get out there and vote. Make sure you vote for Supreme Court.
Tuesday's the last day, and I cannot wait.
Sharon Kennedy, Judy French, Ohio Supreme Court.
That's
there
right.
You go, guys.
Be careful out there.
Stay safe.
Be careful.
From the Elk and Elk Studios, if you were injured on the job, call the lawyers at Elk and Elk at 1-800-ELK-OHIO. News Radio 610 WTVN.
The brand new Ashford of Grove City, independent assisted living and memory care, offering all-inclusive pricing, chef-prepared meals, 24/7 licensed nursing support, and daily activities tailored to your loved one's needs. Find peace of mind and enhance the overall well-being of you and your loved one at the Ashford of Grove City, a COVID-19 free senior living community that's...
And what happened to the heads up on the weather?
Well, I was actually enjoying Ed when he was on a roll.
She was listening.
To finish reading, you cut me up, and Eric just turned me back on. What's up?
I'm sorry. I was like, I was amazed. And
Emily, there's donuts here as big as your head. Hey, we're still on Facebook too. Don't say anything bad about Ed.
This article that Justin Bloor put on here on Facebook, that I was reading, that you were so enamored about. It's pretty good. I mean, it talks about how the Democrats are just keeping us slaves to your dime store jobs. Democrats keep their hands in your pockets. The Democratic Chinese Party preaching hatred to America and the children in their schools.
You know what? Hold that thought for 30 seconds, Ed.
Well, wait.
Because I got to do commercials.
All right, I got to go check and see if we have any 10-round mags for P32 for one of our guests.
All right,
you know that?
Yeah, you go check that, and I will do commercials, then we'll come back for another couple minutes. All right, Em.
Ready whenever.
Okay, here we go. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, we update you on the ATF and the popular pistol braces, and Pawpaw will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. Tune in Saturday at noon or live from LEPD Studios on Bethel Road. This is Eric from OnTarget. This week, we update you on the ATF and the popular pistol braces, and Pawpaw will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. Tune in tomorrow at noon or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road. This is Eric from OnTarget. Today, we update you on the ATF and the popular pistol braces, and Pawpaw will have the Gun of the Week sponsored by Jackson Egress Windows. Tune in today at noon or live from LAPD Studios on Bethel Road.
All right.
Thank you, Em. Hey, did it sound all right at the beginning?
Yeah, sounded great.
All right.
I just was, like I said, kept it going because you were on a roll.
Yeah, no, that's good. That is good. I think everything was good today. The Facebook stayed up, so we are good.
I'm very nervous for next week's show, but
What, are you not here?
Good. No, I am.
Oh,
I'm just nervous
I know.
about this election. It's
We'll
giving me
have to
anxiety.
decide if how we're going to do that. So we'll talk during the week. Yeah, I know.
Well, hopefully we will start by playing his acceptance
I know.
speech.
I know.
So,
Yep.
I'm nervous. Okay, well.
All right.
I'm off on Fridays now, so I'm going to have to plan a visit.
Okay, anytime.
All right, bye.
See ya. Bye.
Did I say a P32? Yeah, P32.
See you guys. All right, guys. I think we're still live on Facebook. Ed is checking inventory for someone. He took his phone, so I can't even answer questions. If you have, one thing we didn't get to during the show today, if you have not voted yet, Buckeye Firearms, their website is a great place to go out there and get the slate cards on everyone that they have researched and made sure that they are Second Amendment friendly. It includes the Supreme Court Justice of Kennedy and French, someone that we definitely need to make sure stays in those positions, as well as some of the others throughout that you might not recognize, some of the judges, but it's important to make sure that we get people in there that are, that are preserving of the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms. If you need anything throughout this week, we are open, still only open till 5 o'clock at this moment, but we hope to expand those hours once again shortly. And but we still have quite a bit of inventory. It's not always the popular items, but there is quite a bit here. Ed, did you find...
I did go check. We do not have any P32 10-rounders in stock. They normally
Was
are
there
here.
a tag there?
Yeah, Lori said that we're just out. So, Steve Holbrook, we're going to have to, you'll have to check back with us in a couple of weeks and see if they got them restocked or not. But
what, and Papa, this is your last chance to pontificate. Ed, there was also someone asked a question about AR mags, I think. Oh, and he's back. It's like the...
You mean assault rifle mags?
Okay. Can you believe that? We got to go out there. Google that tonight, Papa. It is on Jeopardy. I saw it briefly, but, I mean, how... Craziness.
I don't see the...
Oh, I thought someone asked about a 30-round mag or something.
No, they're asking about a 30-round clip for a Glock 9x19.
Yeah, we have 30. They're 33-round Glock mags.
There you go, Billy.
There might be some pro or some Magpul ones out there too. I think they're about that same. Any other words of wisdom, Papa? You've been through a few elections. Anything that is this different? Just they say that
I get nervous, Eric.
Yep.
I get nervous. And when I get real nervous, then I don't even like to watch the play-by-play.
Yep.
I'm not sort of the same way in sports.
Right.
You know, if Ohio State's playing, and they always like Michigan, or not Michigan, but Penn State tonight. If it's a close game, I get too nervous watching it, and then I have to turn off.
So you become like my brother-in-law, who will only watch the game. He records it, and he only watches if
they win. If I know who wins, that helps.
Oh my word!
Where's the fun in that?
I really,
it's no fun, buddy. I want to win, and
you don't have to worry though, because November 3rd, it's going to be a
Ed, I think it is
away so bad.
I think it is, and Ed. Here's a stat we didn't get to on the show, but it is. People are pretty comfortable about Trump's election status in Ohio. I mean, they're thinking that Ohio should go to Trump. Here's an interesting stat. Every time a Republican has won presidency, they have carried Ohio. So that's a good thing. Yes. And only 2 times in history has a Democrat won the presidency and lost Ohio. JFK, and one other time I think it was in the 1800s. So statistically speaking, if Trump is taking Ohio,
because he's an incumbent.
Not just because he was an incumbent, just because, I mean, they always said how Ohio goes. the nation goes, and it is so true. The other flip side of that is everything is so upside down right now. Who knows, what's up and down. But you got to look at these the rallies. It's incredible.
Oh,
Did you see the rally
crazy.
last night, Dad? It was in Minneapolis.
Is this a Trump rally?
Yeah, Minnesota rather, and Democratic governor and AG, and they came down and they said you couldn't have more than 250 people at the rally.
That's because Biden can't get more
250
than 30.
people, Ed. So what they did in the little area, they had 250 people, and they estimated 10,000 surrounded the place.
Oh my God!
Did
you watch Biden and his little entourage when he had his rally?
It's hard to watch.
He had people standing in circles. Everybody was 6
Yes.
feet away. There was probably 12 people there and five or six cars.
It is
It's
hard
ridiculous.
to watch. The other thing too, and this is, I actually feel bad for Biden because I don't know if he truly wants to be president. I mean, he seems to be struggling with some mental cognitive skills, and I mean, this week alone, he said at one point, he can't, he's going to run against George. I don't know if he thought he was running against George Bush. His wife had to whisper, "It's Donald."
Yeah, Trump.
And then, did you see the thing yesterday where he goes 2 or 3 seconds of just a bunch of words together? I mean, it's trending on Twitter because they're like, "What the heck did he just say?" It was like 3 or 4 words all. It's just kind of funny. The person which for that just stopped. They were doing this and they're like, I don't know what the hell that was.
Well, they couldn't figure out what he was saying.
Okay.
Obviously.
But I guess they give.
Answer, you got to answer.
Modern sporting, and then a guy buzzed, and the contestant answered with, "What is an assault rifle?" And Alex responded with a commanding yes.
Oh my God,
Paul, you have a week to get Alex on the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think because of his illness is just not.
It's probably not. Wow, that's crazy.
We got people saying there, turn off the TV and don't watch the race. I got to watch.
No,
I'm going to have to watch the election, and I'm going to have to watch the meltdown of the left on the liberal channels.
Well,
it is so hilarious.
That would be nice, if I knew that was coming.
It's coming. I'm telling
the thing
you, Phil,
is
I
that
called it in 2016.
Let me
and
tell
I'm
you.
calling it again.
Let me tell you. I get so nervous watching sports. Years back, we used to get together on New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, and we used to watch football. And High State was always in it, Rose Bowl, whatever. And back then, we brought our own coolers of beer.
Yep.
And so when I get nervous, I just keep on drinking.
Yeah.
And by the time the game started, I had over 6 beers that I drank, and I was seeing double. So instead of 11 on each side, there was 22 on each side of the ball.
You got to close one eye when that happens.
Yeah, I've done that before.
We got sound getting cut out.
That's what they said.
Facebook's censoring us again.
Who knows? We go. So, all right, guys. Well, good seeing you. 1 week. Hopefully, we have a little celebration
next
going.
Saturday we will be celebrating. Hopefully, we will.
We will be, Ed.
It will be a landslide. I'm telling you.
That's right. Thanks for spending the time with us. Vote, stop by, and see us. Have a good week, guys.
Everybody have a good, safe weekend, and get out and vote for Trump.